It was an incredible season for Cavalry Football Club. They finally claimed the North Star Cup. They were able to exercise some of those postseason demons and had a really good showing in the CONCACAF Champions Cup against a strong Liga MX side. They basically already had a preseason, gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about them as we continue to count down to kickoff for CPL Season 7. The Cavs, they of course want more. They always want more. They're a hungry club like they are one of the best in the CPL. You can put Forge, of course, in that mix. Is this the year they do the double? That could be a question. It's certainly an ambition for the club. Jordan Wilson, when you think about this group, what is your top storyline for the boys at Spruce Meadows?
Do they have enough to do it again with the missing pieces within this squad? And the missing pieces is really just a missing piece if you think about Dan Klump, because he was a midfielder and a defender the way that he played for Calgary the past 2 years, specifically those past 2 seasons when he won Defender of the Year. I mean, all jokes aside, of course they have quality players, Montgomery, Cobbs, are guys that will compete in the Canadian Premier League. But to be that number one team, that last team standing, who replaces them? I think you got to replace by committee. Do they have the guys ready to step up? Are they going to be fit? That's been a big issue with Calgary last season as well. Charlie Trafford not in the mix. Who's stepping up in that way? Who's going to be the one grabbing guys by the scruff of the neck and basically saying, hey, let's go and do things? I also think this is a crucial year for Calgary because if they can win one championship or the double, that Forge, obviously we're going to respect Forge in years to come, but they will definitely take the mantle. It will be Calgary's side with what they did in CONCACAF Champions Cup, with how they've played to go and win the North Star Cup, and then also to have a successful season this year. I mean, maybe the tides have shifted, and maybe Calgary will be the team of the CPL that everyone's talking about.
It's been an interesting approach this offseason for Cavalry because they haven't made sweeping changes. The vast majority of their squad, take away Klump, which is a significant loss, the retirement of Trafford, like they've kept the band together. And that shows that this is a manager that has faith in this team and believes that they have another step to take. But I always think that it comes with a little bit of risk if you don't bring in those 3-4 players to maybe add some competition, add some new approaches, some new ways about it to the squad. So the continuity can play as a strength, but are they a player too short, especially at center back heading into the season? Perhaps. And you don't want that to be their Achilles heel. I also look at this team. There's been a number of these players that have had a difficult time staying fit over the course of the duration of the season. Last year, they all got fit at the right time, right at the end of the year, and just had an incredible finale, one they'll never forget. So we'll see how that all plays out. But Wierzchewski and Musi and players like that on paper, they're going to be right amongst the best in the Canadian Premier League. There's no doubt about that.
I want to throw a quick one in. We talk about the double for Cavalry. That's traditionally league and playoffs. I'm looking at this TELUS Canadian Championship bracket. There's a good opportunity for them to get to the semifinals, and they'll redraw there, get a home and away leg. We've seen them beat Vancouver Whitecaps in the past. Can they be a finalist? Can they win it? Who knows? But some of them I'm certainly watching this year. Gareth Wheeler, let's talk about off-season moves. We highlighted some of the departures. I mean, this is a tough one because at the time we're taping this, they have added 2 new players. So maybe it's a retention that's important to you, or maybe it's a player that they've re-upped that you think can grow into their role as their most important bit of business this offseason.
Kenisia Elva, coming back and playing in Canada. This was a prospect I think a lot of Canadian soccer fans had a lot of fun following over the years as he was linked to some big European clubs, including the Arsenal and others. He's been playing in Germany, but now he comes home. The brief glimpse of that we got to see of him against Pumas, like he fits the bill. He's just going to add a little bit more depth in terms of their attack. For me, maybe the most perfect signing that any club made in terms of fitting their identity over the course of this offseason. Elva coming back to the province of Alberta. I think he's going to fit this group to a T. I think he's going to be a whole lot of fun to watch as well. Talk about impact. I think he's going to have a profound one with Cavalry heading into this new campaign.
Jordan Wilson, you'll remember we famously on One Soccer Today did hot takes, and we talked about a surprise or new player who might win the Golden Boot. I was tempted to put Kenisia Elva's name there.
Were you?
What do you think? What do you think, Jordan Wilson?
I love the signing. I love when homegrown players come back home and do the full circle route. But we talked about Meyer Bevan after he left, and that Wierzchewski was a different brand. But I love the athleticism and the fact that players will fear Elva and going against him and being like, this guy, long ball, the way he can hold it up, the way he can run in behind. playing all these teams all the time, someone like Elva is going to keep you up at night. To goal scorer, we'll just wait and see. I don't want to put that on a young man that hasn't played a minute in the CPL, but I do love his profile.
Need to make at least Wilson. 1 or 2 more signings for me. Just a center back or probably a midfielder, and I think they'll be okay. Yeah, probably.
I feel like those signings are coming too. Like I feel like Tommy never really rushes. He always takes the time to really make sure it's the right decision, and then when it's like game 7, you see a new signing come in and they're ready to go and kick it off.
Well, with the injury as well last year to Maël Henry, he comes back. He's fit as well. You got Herdman, Henry, Elva, Warshevsky, Musi, Camargo. It's all right for the Cavs with a big opportunity to do something special in the CPL in 2025. The season gets underway April the 5th right here on One Soccer.